And we are back, week 6 of the DFL, the final 2 week stretch of the regular season, and a lot to play for. And the most important thing is every single team is alive. That's right. We have an 0-5 team that is alive. We'll go through the matchups and we'll get some predictions going, and can't wait to see how this plays out. But our first matchup, we have the Eagles taking on the Colts. Now, the Eagles are 4-1. They suffered a pretty big loss last week to the Cowboys. They did play without Michael Panitz. They had a good receiver in Svi Lieber to play in his stead, but they weren't at full strength. And you could tell the vibes, even though Panitz was on the sidelines, rooting his team on with that mask up to here, blocking all 4 wisdom teeth that he had removed. They just weren't the same. And, Shimmy Cohen had a tough game last week, and he's looking to get back on track. And he's going up against this Colt team that showed some fight last week. And the Colt team actually got their first victory last week, and they showed a semblance of a good team. I mean, we've been saying it all year. That team didn't get a fair shake to start out of the gate with a bunch of injuries. I know Ralph Hannon is still hurt, nursing some sore calf / Achilles. And however, their team is actually shaping up and taking form. Let's see who the quarterback is. Last week, Svi Lieber was the quarterback. Ike Mavora was there on the sidelines nursing a bad hamstring. So let's see how what they decide to do in that game. But the Eagles have an opportunity to knock out this Colts squad. Well, not knock them out for good, ironically, because they still could somehow sneak in the final week. But I see this Colt team, gelling at the right time. And I am taking the Colts in an upset to improve to 2-4 and dropping the Eagles to 4-2. That's our first matchup. Matchup number 2, we have another interesting one. We have the class of the league, the 5-0 Dallas Cowboys, who is clicking on all cylinders basically since out of the gate. And they just have not had a misstep. And it seems as if every single team is no challenge for them. I mean, they had a few tight matchups, but still, the Cowboys have been great. Ellie Siegel has been great. Their entire team, from Jojo Matute, just breakout rookie, having a great year, and Morty Sultan also. Those are the two really standout offensive players outside of Siegel, and both those guys are rookies. So really a great job by Captain Alan Mustaki holding it together and drafting that team. And everybody's contributing, from Abramson to Novoselic, and on the spots that they pick. And Moose doing a great job in the line. Jackie Sutton, Roden intercepting balls weekly. Just great team. And like we said, they're going up against the Cowboys, who last week was, I'll just say it bluntly, it was an abomination last week, missing 4 players. I know it wasn't their fault, however, but missing 4 players out of 8, the recipe for a disaster, and that's just why they got their doors blown in. And this team, I believe, is at full strength this week, so we should get a full complement of the Miami Dolphins squad. Zachy Citron playing good ball. Buka, steady, playing pretty good ball. Torquia's back this week. They missed him. Sammy Saruya having a great rookie campaign also. Victor Abadi was out last week. He should be back. Good on the line. Charlie Baton and Gruskin. These two teams, I know I would kind of rooting for the league's sake for the Dolphins to win this. Dolphins are at 2-3, but I think that bottom of the pack is going to get more muddled. And I think the Cowboys will remain undefeated and improve to 6-0. Now, we'll move on to the 10 o'clock games. We have the Ravens and the Steelers. Ravens, Steelers, right now, currently, both of the teams are in the basement, in the cellar. Now, this game is a very important game for both teams. If the Steelers lose, I don't know if they're mathematically eliminated. They probably are. But if the Steelers lose, their season's over. And for that reason alone, I think they're going to win this game, but we'll go through the matchup. And the Ravens at 1-4, after all those trades, they looked pretty good. They were in a game that they lost, and then they won a game, or they were like close in games. They regressed a little bit. Zach Hassan playing well. Michael Escava, I know took over the spot for Rocky. I actually think he's been one of their best players on their team. IG is back. Was out last week. Eddie Casson, an absolute assassin from the wide receiver spot. The more I think about it, I may be taking the Ravens on this game. let me think through it. And then Alan Shiram and Ruven Juris, I believe, is back this week. Joe Moyal, who is that steady guy over the middle, and David Amram. Listen, on the Steelers squad, you have Elliott Saka played really well last week. He got screwed in a few calls referees made. Sammy Schwecke was out last week. He is back. Freddie Bijou, just great receiver. Charles Saka, Victor Cohen, the captain, Shua King, Jack Massery, and Nathan Batesh, who is proven to be a steal with the last pick of the draft. Listen, their team, they're in a lot of games. They lose a lot of close games. A lot of the games could have went either way. So I don't think their record is indicative of their talent level. Yeah, I did change my mind. I'm going to Ravens to improve to 2-4 and put themselves back into the playoffs and more or less burying the Steelers. And then our final matchup, we have the Niners versus Texans. These are two teams that are right now in the 3-4 seed, and this can make a big difference because if the Niners could win coming off a big week last week, they could tie up the record with the Texans and get a tiebreaker over them and tie them up at 4-2 because they are coming into the week at 4-1. So this game, I think, is probably the game of the week, just based on records and based on matchups. Modoic coming off player of the week, having a great week last week. Momo Levy having another great rookie campaign. A lot of good rookies this year. Shua Danny was out last week, and Joey Alalo is back. Had an injury scare. CZS had a big week last week, riding high, and Daba and Benhamu. And then finally, for the Texans, you have Bernhack, who is, slow start to start, but just came out after that, firing on all cylinders. Yoni Panagel with a big week, and Gold and Milbasati. Final matchup, I will be taking, are you ready for it? I will be taking the Niners, and I'll see you on the field in the real, the Commissioner's Corner. I will see you later.